No. Yeah. So next up, the covering. Wow, covering was another album that did cause some controversy with some Christians. I don't know why. Personally, I can't figure it out for the life of me. I mean, these guys, they've said they were never in the church choir. Right? Actually, Michael just posted something on the other day too on Facebook. I didn't put it up here though. I'm not going to waste everyone's time getting it. But it basically, I already have this done. He basically said to the effect of, we were not Christians that decided to play heavy metal. We were heavy metal musicians that became Christians and decided to give it over to God. And, so, these guys, as I said, they weren't in a church choir. Instead, they were on the Sunset Strip. They were playing with the likes of Motley Crue, Rat, Guns N' Roses. Actually, earlier this year, I read Steven Adler's autobiography. He was the drummer of Guns N' Roses. Great book. Talked about his struggles with drug addiction, and he became quite heavily addicted to heroin and other stuff, right? So, but anyways, in the book, it was so cool. He raved about how cool he thought Stryper was. I was amazed. I didn't expect to see it in the book. I'm sitting here reading this book and I'm like, oh my gosh, Stryper got mentioned. Basically, he just spoke about how, he said how tight they were as musicians. He couldn't care less about the fact they were Christians. So, hell, GNR even opened for Stryper once. I don't know if you knew that back in those early days, right? GNR actually opened for Stryper once on the. I don't know if they were Stryper or Rock's Regime at the time, but they did do that. So when you have a band as talented as Stryper, I think it's great to get a glimpse of how they cut their teeth. To hear their take on some of the classic songs and bands that influence their style. I personally love their versions of Heaven and Hell. Highway Star and Breaking the Law. Speaking of breaking the law, this is a pretty cool story. And I know Michael's mentioned this as well. I saw Stryper in Toronto in 1991. They were playing pretty, at the time, it's no longer there now, but we had a nightclub called Rock and Roll Heaven. They just, that time they played all the rock bands of the days that were touring the club circuit. And it was Stryper and Trickster opened up. And anyways, Judas Priest was in town because they had a show the next day. And Rob Halford came out to the Stryper show to check him out.
Oh, wow.
And so he was in the audience and Michael saw him there and said, hey, invited him up on stage and they jammed out Against the Law. Or sorry, not Against the Law, Breaking the Law.
Yeah. And
so, pretty cool experience.
Definitely.
Set, right. And, obviously, with this album being a covers album, there's really only one song for me to speak of lyrically. And that, of course, is the absolute gem, God. Closes off the album. I love this track. And lyrically, another song that really is for our current times. I've talked about how the world's in a mess right now, right? Just, so much useless violence going on. People are losing their moral compass. Whether you're a believer or not, right? We all should have a moral compass. Christians take their morality from Scripture, but I think generally, if people could just try and be nice people, the world would be a better place, right?
Definitely.
But unfortunately, there's a lot of people that are just losing their moral compass, so to speak, and instead of having that thing inside them that tells them what's good and bad,
Totally agree with that, mate. Totally agree there.
Most of us know that human life is valuable and you shouldn't cheat on your spouse, etc. But yeah, just so much crap going on in society, so much wickedness, and we've become a me first generation. And I think this song is, it's just a cry out to God to save us, have mercy on us. And man, do we need it.
Well, yeah, well said there, mate. Definitely. I mean, I am, like you said, I mean, I know right from wrong. You know, I know what it means to help people. You know what I mean? So the message gets, I live by that message as much as anyone. You know what I mean? I know that how to treat people, and that's important to me. So musically, this song, it's back to their best, wasn't it? This was them back to their best. They was finding their way, and I think this song. The funny thing about this song and this whole album was that I didn't really listen to it when it came out. So I was with a lot of bands as well when I sort of left a lot of bands behind. So Stryper was one of them, and there's a list of bands that I left behind from the 80s that were still going, and I lost interest. And especially cover albums, I've never been into them. But you know, obviously, I'm listening to this now, and they have done some great covers on this. But so this song was sort of left behind because it was a cover album, because it was stuck on the end, and I never really listened to it at the time. So I think I might have listened to it once or twice, you know, and that was it. But I think it was Mark Clough who I've done a couple of these videos with, and he mentioned it to me what a great song this was before we did our top 10. And I went and listened to this on YouTube, and I was just blown away, as if it should have been on one of their last 4 albums. Easy. This is an absolutely brilliant song, and I can't stop listening to it now. So the vocal style, that he's got it fully here, is that aggressive new sort of style that Michael's got, that he obviously that he's changed slightly. It's not a massive change from what he still sings high, and he can, but it's a lot more aggressive now. You know, he's going for it a lot more now. The melody of the song is fully back here. You know, the melody that they had all those years ago and what they've got now, it was back here in this song. That sort of melancholy but heavy Stryper sound that I love. Twin lead solo on here is amazing as well. There's a bit of twin lead here, which I can never get enough twin lead. You know, I've been listening to twin lead solo since I was a kid, and now I could have it forever. I just think this is a song as good as anything they've produced. I really do. This is right up there. Love the song. And obviously, like I said, I've been listening to it a lot now, but I did leave it alone for all those years. But a brilliant song. Absolutely brilliant, mate. Mm-hmm. There was the only one you could choose, like you said, but what a great song, though.
Well, I could have chosen the other ones, but lyrically, I don't think they really,
no, exactly.
I mean, not that they're bad. I mean, there's a lot of good covers on that song. There's some of their versions I actually prefer to the originals in a lot of ways.
But I mean, I don't mean to main drop, but I interviewed Michael, didn't I? And he said that this was the time when they fully went back, and this is why we're getting those albums now, because of this album. This was the last little bit in the chain where they went back and started listening to all their songs that they were influenced by, and also redoing all their older songs, this was the last bit where they thought, right, we're back, and they sort of get it in their heads that we know what we're going to be. We're going to be this Stryper they used to be, but with a little bit more added on at the same time. Superb. Absolutely superb.
Well, so next album.
Wow. Yes.
No More Hell to Pay. Can we officially say it? Stryper's back.
Oh yeah, they were back, mate. They were back. Yeah.
This would be the first of 4 incredible releases that prove this band still has the goods.
How many bands do you know that have brought out 4 albums in a row to that standard? There might be some that have done 3. There might be the odd one that's done 4.
You'd probably have to go back to like maybe like Iron Maiden, probably.
Even then with Maiden, and I'm a massive Maiden fan, but even then, it's hard to say if they were that consistent.
Yeah, I was never a fan back then, so I'd have to go back and really look. They definitely do have some good songs, and they're known for their show though more than anything. They put on an amazing show.
Yeah.
But yeah, or you might even have to go back to some really old stuff, like Queen, and and some of these old bands that really did, or the Beatles. Like I was never really a big Beatles fan, but anybody who's a musician that understands musicality would say that like them, Led Zeppelin, bands like that, right? That just had it, right? But yeah, you're right. It's in today's day. Yeah, I don't know who else I could think of, but these 4 albums, and we're gonna hit them out one at a time here, but they just, starting with No More Hell to Pay, man, you just knew this band was back big time. And I feel that for the most part, each individual release has gotten better. There's certain songs on certain ones that you might put ahead or whatever, but from a pure 100% album concern, I really do feel like what Michael says when he comes out and people give him a hard time saying, "Oh, it's going to be our best album yet." I think he's right. It's just that progression has just been incredible. And talking about this, like so many bands from that era are just living off their old hits. You go see a tour of any of these old metal bands from the 80s, and most of them aren't writing any new stuff at all. Or if they do, they put out a new album once every 10 years or something, right? And I don't know how Michael does it.
No.
No. It's like he's literally on a pace where he's putting out a minimum of 1 album a year. Minimum, sometimes 2.
Well, look at that. Look at the
Sweet and Lynch and the Solo and Stryper, and now he's doing Sunbomb and
that post he put out
with Joe Hoekstra.
Oh my god, the post he put out the other day, the list of stuff. I'm like, wow. I mean, I knew about some of it, but I was thinking.
And then the guy writes the whole album in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was what amazed me as well. I mean, obviously, it's the basis of the album. It's the basics of the songs. But yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah, crazy. So, anyways, so as Stryper's doing the opposite. They're not living off their old hits. I mean, they definitely play their old hits, and but they're just coming out with some great stuff in the last 4 albums. From a lyrical standpoint, I also feel that Michael's writing has got a lot more in depth. I talked at the very beginning of the show how simplistic the lyrics were on Yellow and Black Attack and even on Soldiers. There's a couple songs that went a little bit more in depth, but for the most part, Jesus Makes Me Want to Sing, and very, very, just very simplistic stuff, right? Which for that day is probably made sense. But I think nowadays, today's music, especially metal, I listen to, I've told you how much I love like a band like Disturbed or something. You listen to lyrical content even in those bands, and they're really telling some pretty in-depth stories. It's kind of pretty cool. So I definitely find his writing has just gotten much deeper into scripture, and just I think the first song I've chosen is the title track. I think this song is just really just a great testament of faith and steadfastness. The writer's saying to God, I'm with you till the end. No pun intended, because I think that's a song from his solo album there. With you till the end. I'm taking it one day at a time, and I don't care what the doubting voices say. I am lifting up the name that will shine, and the light of heaven's brighter every day. Oh, I know that it's rough, even though there is pain, even though I know there's pain. Even so, when it's tough, I will not be ashamed. If the darkness reveals the end of days, I'll follow you till there's no more hell to pay. You have given me a gift I won't deny, and you're offering a better world to come. The sorrow of tomorrow's left so far behind, with the joy of what this life will soon become. That's just it. To me, that's just what that is. That's just a pure, just a testament of his faith, and just saying, God, you know what, you've brought me through all the ups and downs of this world, and I'm with you till the end. And I think it's just a great song, and musically it crunches. You'll get into that, I'm sure, but just a real crunchy song.
I mean, man, let's just go straight off. This is a 10 out of 10 song. Easy for me. It's not one of the best Stryper riffs. It's one of the best riffs I've ever heard. Honestly, I absolutely love this song. It's really weird. I like medium pace songs. I've said that already. And this is the perfect song for me. It's got that medium pace. It's almost a little bit slower than medium. It's like slow to medium. It's like almost as if the guitar is sort of behind the drums really cleverly. It's really strange. I can't explain it because I wish I could. There's probably some technical term for it, but the guitar work on here, man, it's just amazing. And it's back to that, the intricacy that I've spoken about, which was missing because of production. Now the production's back. Now those little fiddly guitar bits within the verses, I love it when bands do that. I love it. Sorry to go off kilter a bit, but other bands used to do that. Scorpions were one of them. They used to do little tiny lead bits within their verses, They used to do little intricate bits, not just to wait till the solo comes. They would do these little fiddly bits throughout the song. And that's where this is back with No More Hell to Pay. For me, obviously, this was the best album since To Hell with the Devil, without a doubt, easily. I didn't even have to mention that. I'm sure you know that as well. It was right back as they were. Mm-hmm. It's my favourite song from No More Hell to Pay as well. I just think the solo is almost a song on its own. The melody through the solo, it's almost this must be so much. It sounds like they spent a week writing a solo, and he probably doesn't. He probably does it in like a second, the way he writes songs. But the solo itself is like a song in itself. Absolutely love this song. One of the best songs ever written, in my opinion. Love it.
Yeah, great. Next I picked for second track of this album, I went with Marching into Battle.
Yeah.
It's funny, this track didn't get my attention at first at all. I actually heard this song, the first time I heard this song was before the album was released. They played, it was the Second Coming tour that they played in Toronto, a little club called The Rock Pile. And he said, we're going to play a new song off new album we got coming out. And this was the song they played. And I was like, didn't get into it at first. Couldn't get really into the chorus and stuff. And then, one time it's all of a sudden, it's just like a light switch turned on in my brain, and it just resonated with me instantaneously suddenly. I find that with a lot of songs, you just can't seem to get into them. And then over time, something clicks, right? And you realize it's actually as good. And lyrically, I mean, with this song, I swear it's like Michael Sweet just opened up his Bible to the book of Revelation and started reading. Christians believe that Jesus Christ is returning one day, and when he does, it's going to be in power and glory, and that Satan and all his demons and false prophets will be silenced for an entire millennium. It does talk about that, and it's in the book of Revelation. And so when I read these lyrics, I saw the heavens open, and behold, a white horse. The one that was sitting upon him was called Faithful and True. His eyes were like two burning flames, on his head a golden crown. He wore a vesture of blood with a name nobody knew. Marching into battle, marching into battle, marching into battle. Out of his mouth came a sword he used to smite the nations. The beast and false prophet were bound and cast into the sea. Their followers slain by Almighty, fowls they fed upon them. Marching to battle, repeated again. Really, that's that this song is just revelation put to music. And yet they had a song called Revelation too. But
that was a great song as well, man.
I think this
that was such a great song as well.
Yeah, but I tell you, I just wow, it was. Yeah. And then musically, as I said, it grew on me all of a sudden. Like it was like a light switch went off. I was like, oh yeah, actually, I do like this song.
Yeah, I mean, look, I spoke about earlier on. There's like two sides, if you like, to Stryper's music. There's like a rock and roll type side, not rock and roll, you know what I mean? It's like heavy rock and roll, and there's this power metal type sort of sound to him, and this is within that, the power metal type side of their music. I love Marching into Battle. I think it's sort of, and again, I can't play the guitar, but it's like a real simple sounding heavy riff, but really effective. I love, and they seem to be doing this quite a bit now. They've got their choruses now. Sometimes they take like a choir type sound, like Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? That sort of chorus. I love it. I just think it's brilliant. It gives you, a lot of different than other bands. The chorus as well is like the drums. It's almost like there's a bit where it breaks down, like they are marching with the drums beating, like, just going into battle. I think it's brilliant. That's right near the end. Some great high-pitched screams from Michael Sweet at the end of this song, just showing he's in top form. One of the top tracks on No More Hell to Pay, and there's a lot to live up to on that album, man. There's a lot of good tracks, and this is one of the best ones. So a great track, man. A great track. I think I think I rated this album, I think it was second on my ranking of the album video about all their albums. So yeah, it's a great album.
Then they come up with Fallen.
Yeah, I know. That was a close one, man. What a great album again.
What were they thinking? What the heck were they thinking, man? It's like,
yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. Okay, so hey, I almost was gonna do when I was doing this, I was actually gonna put these two songs together, but then I still split them up. So,
what one are you gonna do first?
I'm gonna do. What one am I? Yourself in the head, wait. You know what I'm gonna do first. Yahweh, of course. Yeah. Wow, what an opener.
Yeah.
To an absolute brilliant album. At the heart of Christianity is Jesus Christ and the sacrifice he made on the cross. You don't have Christianity without Jesus and his dying on the cross for us, right? You really can't sugarcoat the crucifixion, and this song just retells the story in such an incredible way. I remember the first time I heard this track, I was just blown away. And then that last verse and that final scream on "He was crucified." Wow. I got to say, to this day, I've heard that song played live, myself live, as well as the various YouTube videos. I will say there's only one thing that disappoints me about this is I wish that Michael Sweet would use the backing tracks on this song when they play it live. He always cuts it and doesn't sing "He is crucified." He kind of lets the audience do it, but they never do it loud or anything like that. See, to me, that is on this song, and hopefully he's listening to this or watching this at some point. Michael, if you're watching this, next time you play this song live, please bring your, I realize you can't do that scream on every show. You'd probably lose your voice, but bring your backing track in and let that is, to me, that is one of the most powerful moments on this song. It's a great song all the way through, but just when you sing that part, he was crucified, it just gives me goosebumps every time. And would love to hear that coming out in a live performance. But yeah, wow. That's all I can say about that lyrically. And I'm sure you could say a million things musically. I'll let you go to it.
I think this could be the most epic song they've ever, probably the most epic song they've ever done. I mean, this, I did say to, well, I've said it on my channel. I've said it to Michael Sweet as well. This is like the hint. This is a hint at a 10-minute song for me. A 10, 11, 12 minute. This sounds like they're getting ready for one of those, you know, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner, Iron Maiden type. You know, they did their 13-minute song. This
Theocracy, some of their stuff.
Yeah, Theocracy as well. It's like their hint at this is what they could do. And there's so many twists and turns on this song. It's so heavy. It's so epic. It's sort of, I don't know. No, I said I didn't react to this. I reviewed this song on my channel as well. You know, after a long time after it had come out, not so long ago. Actually, I think after Blood from Above video, and then I did this one. And I said on there, and you said it about another song earlier. If metal fans heard this and didn't like it, then they don't like metal. They don't like metal. If they don't like this song, they don't like metal, because you can't get more metal than this. The riffing, it's just so heavy, man. It's so epic. This is, I think it was my, I don't want to, I think it was my second favourite Stryper song ever. Yeah, it was a lot of people's first, probably, this one. But
I'm going to go into a little later. I think it's probably my second or third if I were to, I mean, I haven't done what you did where I actually go nitty gritty through everything, but I would probably say it's probably got to be in my top three for sure. Maybe probably top two. I'd have to go listen to everything again, really think about like you did to really know. But man, it just what a song.
Don't you agree though, man? It's definitely it's a hint in it. A 12-minute epic masterpiece. It's gotta be, isn't it?
Michael, once again, if you're watching this show, do at least suggest, man, that you can do it. I mean, give us Stryper fans that epic, 12, 15 minutes. I don't care. Yeah. Take up one side of the album if you want.
That's it. I agree.
I mean, I would just love to hear, one of those long epic songs from Stryper would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
One of those songs that could just take you your whole way to work. Although for me, that's not very far. I work from home, so don't. Next up, and as I said, I was thinking of putting these two together, is the closer on the album, King of Kings.
Yep.
And to me, equally as brilliant as Yahweh, comes King of Kings. Same thing, just blown away by this song. Just has this triumphant feeling to it. It's like Christ was dead, but now he's alive. And I remember thinking to myself at the time when I first heard this album in full, I heard that opening song and that closing song, and I thought to myself, I said, man, if Stryper were to open and close every live concert with those two songs, I'd be one happy soldier. I mean, I think they're just two epic songs that really encompass what Stryper's about.
Yeah.
From a lyrical standpoint and musically well.
Man, it's a brilliant song. As I was listening to this, obviously we've both heard these songs a lot, but when you go and listen to them back like I have, again to do the show, because I didn't run the channel back then, obviously. I've only done it since March this year. So, I
had to do something during COVID, huh?
Exactly. That was what it was all about, to tell you the truth, just to pass a bit of time. But and I don't know but now when I listen to albums now that come out that are new, like Even the Devil Believes album, I'm listening to it a lot more intently and listening to details and different. I listen to music differently in general now because of this channel. So I had to go back and listen to this song, obviously, because of this, doing this, because I can't remember every song. I want to listen to the little bits. And it felt like, it brought a lot more to me than it did. Even though I like the song, I like it even more now because of listening to it again properly. To me, it had it's got a definite Soldiers type feeling to this song. Soldiers Under Command feeling through the verses especially. And when I said earlier on about faster songs, I'm not into the faster songs, but this is a faster song that's done right. They've done it perfectly. Love the choir type chorus again that they're using on this one. Amazing solo from Michael and Oz on this. And I love it when you can hear distinctively it change to the guitar. You hear Michael and then it goes bang into Ozzy's bit. I love it when you can really hear the difference and them kick in like that. And when they both play a part like that in a solo, I love it. I think they should do it all the time. But a great song, like you said, a closer, another good closer. They've chosen the right song to close on. A brilliant choice again, mate.
They just seem to do it on every album. They always just have a great song to open every album and a great song to close every album.
Yeah.
Usually they're kind of barn burners, that just really, you just kind of listen to the first song, you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
You listen to the last song and you're like, okay, I gotta go listen again.
That's it.
It's like,
brilliant choice, mate. Brilliant choice. Yeah. Okay.
So
it's a bit controversial, this one, isn't it?